What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, YouTube sensation and newfound prize fighter Jake Paul has come out with a brash statement, a bold statement. He says that he is the future of prize fighting as it pertains to boxing. And hey, he is knocking down arenas and barriers for guys to come out here and get this money who aren't even in the arenas of boxing. You know what I mean? And he said that after his defeat of Tyron Woodley recently. Now, that was a fight that I did not watch. However, it was all across Showtime. It was all on YouTube, getting like millions of views and so on and so forth. So evidently, the fight was doing extremely well. A lot of people tuned in for the fight, and from what I'm hearing, it was like 16, 17,000 fans in that arena to watch that fight. Nonetheless, you have a lot of people from the boxing community who felt disrespected. You know, a lot of people that, not even just fighters, like promoters, journalists, boxing aficionados, and so on and so forth. They can't stand Jake Paul. They feel like he's doing a disservice to the boxing community. He's making a mockery of it. How dare he stick his chest out and say he's the future of prize fighting when we got these other guys who worked from the amateur ranks all the way to the professional ranks and even became champion. How can he say he's the future of prize fighting when we got other guys who are champions out here still doing it against guys who are trained to kill them, right? Trained to hurt them badly. You know what I mean? Y'all know me. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I'm a huge boxing fan. Been watching boxing since I was a little itty bitty boy, sitting next to my uncles on the couch, watching Mike Tyson, watching Evander Holyfield, so on and so, Lennox Lewis as well, James Toney, Roy Jones Jr., so on and so forth. As big as I am a boxing fan, I'm not hating on dude. I can't. He's doing something that I want a lot of the other boxers that I really enjoy to do. You know what I mean? Like, boxing is not just about fighting. It's psychology that goes into it. Like, seriously, Floyd Mayweather's style is beautiful for somebody like myself because I am a boxing head. I'm in love with the sweet science. However, for the average person, his style isn't exciting. But he found a way to get you to gravitate to him, to watch him fight. Whether you tuned in because you hated him or because you liked him, he got you to pay your money and watch. Why? Because he had a certain swagger, a certain bravado about himself, a certain type of charisma about himself that made people want to be enamored with him and who he was as a personality. And that is what Jake Paul is out here doing. He's making people be in tune with him and like really be all in tune with his personality. And it's something that he learned being a YouTube star. He learned the way to get people to engage with him or be I guess attracted to his aura or attracted to the content that he creates, right? So he's transferred that to the boxing arena. He gonna talk crazy. He gonna be flashy. He gonna be flamboyant. He gonna be talking crazy. He gonna be like off the top saying all type of wild stuff in order to get people to tune in. And he's developed a personality where people are gonna pay money to watch him fight. They're gonna come into the arenas and watch him fight. And to be honest, when I'm looking at the numbers and I'm looking at even the pay-per-view buys and I'm looking at the views on YouTube and so on and so forth, he's doing better in certain arenas than a lot of my favorite fighters. And the problem with that is a lot of fighters of today, they lack the personalities of the fighters of yesterday, right? They lack the personalities or the aura of a Mike Tyson, of a Muhammad Ali, of a Floyd Mayweather Jr., of a Roy Jones Jr., of a James Toney. They don't have that same type of bravado about themselves. So that in turn people aren't really in tune with the sport like they once was. Because you have certain guys, and I love these fighters to death. Y'all know Errol Spence Jr., one of my favorite fighters. And it's cool to definitely be a humble fighter for sure. But in the build-up to that fight, and y'all know EJ, my dog, the build-up to the fight with Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence was boring as ever. It was like watching paint dry. However, I was going to tune in because I knew the sparks was going to fly in the ring, period, right? But you have a guy coming in, a YouTuber, making a lot of money because he has a personality that a lot of the guys in boxing don't show, right? And that's a problem, you know what I mean? Another guy, Terrence Crawford, is an easygoing guy, doesn't talk much, stays to himself. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate into pay-per-view buys. It doesn't translate into people wanting to watch the sport. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you got to be ignorant. You don't have to be ignorant and just downright disrespectful and ugly, but have a flamboyance and a flair about you that people will want to be in tune with. They want to be in tune with what you're doing. Deion Sanders wasn't malicious in his sport when he talked about himself, and when he came out with Flair and Flash, and he came out with a whole different type of bravado. When he came out with that bravado, he wasn't down talking anybody else. He was just bigging himself up. And I think that maybe that is what's becoming a hindrance to the sport, to where people are attracted to a YouTuber coming in that's talking crazy and want to watch him fight. He got a swag about himself, whether we like it or not, whether we respect it, whether we gravitate to it or not. Other people are gravitating to it, and it's selling. So you can't be mad at him for that. I can't hate dude. You can't hate the player. You gotta hate the game. The game is what the game is, and the game is that people want to be excited for a fight. People buy into characters. Floyd Mayweather created Money Mayweather, a character. He created Pretty Boy Floyd, a character, to get people to want to watch him tune in. I mean, people that want to watch him do what he do best. People that want to watch him get in the ring, whether it was to lose or win. Deion Sanders created Primetime, a character, to get people to come out and pay their money to see him do his thing. Right? So you can't get mad at him. And also the problem with is Jake Paul is able to come in and get boxers, and take the money the way that some boxers can get. He's able to come into the sport and become a cash cow in the sport because a lot of the top guys aren't fighting each other. It is what it is, man. A lot of the biggest fights aren't happening. And when the biggest fights ain't happening, people gonna go elsewhere. Okay, you say Jake Paul gonna take on Floyd Mayweather? Logan Paul, his brother. The Paul brothers, they end up making a killing. Logan Paul gonna take on Floyd Mayweather? Let's tune in. Jake Paul gonna take on Nate Robinson? Let's tune into that. Hey, who wouldn't want to watch that? It seems exciting. A professional athlete taking on a kid who just took up boxing, and I can't even hate because dude got boxing skill to be a novice. To be a novice in the sport, he got boxing skill, man. And I can't be mad at that and hate him for that. You know what I'm saying? He's found an avenue to generate revenue, like really, really good revenue, and he's keep cashing in on it. Fighting professional fighters like Tyron Woodley, and he's picking his opponents carefully, guys who he feels like he can have an advantage over. So people are like, oh, he ain't gonna get in there with a real boxer. Of course he's not. He's not gonna get in there with a champion for real, for real. Like, I mean, his brother did, but either the fighter's gonna be retired or something or older. He ain't gonna get in there with a young Errol Spence or nothing like that. No, he's not. Of course he's not gonna do that. He's gonna go into a fight where he has a chance of winning so that his name and resume can keep living on and on. And even if he was to lose, if he took on somebody else, the dude developed a character that's so interesting to the public, they still gonna buy it. That's the reason why Adrian Broner has lost several fights, and people gonna still see him perform and come out and see him fight, even if you think he don't let his hands go, because you know the banter that's gonna come with him. You know the bravado. Fighters like people like seeing fighters talk shit. I'm gonna be plain and simple with y'all. They like to see the braggadocious stuff. They like to see shit talking. You know what I mean? Because people are in love with the everyday gladiator. That's what boxing is. Like, it's a gladiator sport. People want to see guys get in there and knock dudes' heads off and do something that they can't do. So they looking at these fights and they want to see guys bang it out. They want to see dudes slug it out for real. And they want to see cockiness. They want to see trash talking in the midst of it because it's entertainment and it's entertaining. It's entertaining and it's entertainment. You know what I mean? So, that's why he's able to make, he's able to cash out in the sport. Why he's able to make a lot of money. The guys first of all, a lot of the fighters some of them have boring personalities. They're not that interesting. They don't share much. They're really, really reserved. You don't have this, not the age where the promoters are talking for them or promoters talk for you, or they're your mouthpiece. Social media, they're not even active like that on social media to show their personality, to show different sides of themselves, to get people to be enamored with their fights. Adrian Broner was the one to do that, for real. Like, and win, lose, or draw, Adrian Broner was able to put butts in the seats. You know what I'm saying? He was able to put butts in the seats. The people gonna come out and fill out an arena to watch him fight, whether it was to lose or to win. It was what it was, man. And the state of boxing is where it is because the fights ain't getting made. The big fights aren't getting made. And because guys don't have the personalities that they once did. So you got a young YouTuber coming in and cashing in off of that. And I can't get mad at dude. I can't, man. I cannot get mad at that at all. He's found a void to fill, and he's filling it well. And until those fighters come out and until we get the biggest fights, until fighters come out and develop some type of personality and a swagger, you know what I mean, to get people to be in love with them or to captivate people, he gonna always keep outselling even dudes that are great boxers. Because being a cash cow is way more than just being a great fighter. It's way more than that. It's a lot that goes into it. And I think fighters maybe underestimate it or don't see it. And it's not like these fighters don't have it in them, because a lot of them do, especially when they pissed off and when they mad. I seen Terrence Crawford when he was fighting Jose Benavidez. I seen how amped up he got. You know what I mean? I seen Errol Spence when he was fighting Sean Porter. I seen him when he was fighting Kell Brook. I seen what was said. I know it can come out. You know what I mean? I know it can. I saw a sneak peek of it when it came out when he fought Mikey Garcia in the press conferences leading up to the fight when the fight was getting close. I know the personalities that these guys can have, but they got to display that. They got to go on their social medias and display their personality, and to get that big bread that Jake Paul is getting. He getting that bag because he found a way to milk the system. He found a way to keep robbing the bank, for real, because he learned it from YouTube. He learned how to get the public to just gravitate to everything he does from being a big YouTube personality. So I can't be mad at that. And dude got some boxing skill to be a novice, man. He got some boxing skill to be a novice, and he got the heart to get in there and try to fight with folks. You know, and I don't care what it is. It takes some heart to get in that ring. Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't even put themselves, I guess, to put themselves out there to be possibly embarrassed by getting knocked out, knocked down, or get hit with hard shots and your legs be wobbling. People don't even want to put themselves in that line of possible embarrassment. So it takes heart and courage to go out there and do it, and he's doing it. And I can't get mad at dude, man. And until somebody beat him, he gonna keep talking crazy, and he gonna keep getting his bread. Dude doing millions and millions of views. He got dudes, real fighters, fighting on his undercard, man. He got fighters like Jake Paul and them had what's my boy name, man? Godly. What's my boy name? 150 fight at 154. Godly. Jared Hurd. Had Jared Hurd fighting on his undercard. The older brother, Logan Paul, did. They got real fighters fighting on their undercards. And the reason why is because they got that personality. They got that personality to sell. And Showtime, they want that bread, man. Money makes the world go round. And the money going to get tossed at whoever is able to fill a crowd. To fill a crowd, to fill the seats up. That's what it's about, man. And you can't get mad at dude. I can't hate on dude for doing what he doing. You know, and shoot, hey, he picking his opponents wisely. He ain't gonna get in there with nobody that's gonna try to damage him too bad, but he gonna get in there with somebody that people want to see him fight, that people are gonna be intrigued to watch. He getting there with dudes that's talking mess back to him. Dudes that got a following of their own. And they making it, whether you like the fight. I didn't even watch the fight. Whether the fight was exciting or not. They got bread. And Floyd had some fights that people didn't deem was exciting. It was great for me because I'm a boxing head and I love the sweet science, but it wasn't exciting to the casual fan. Hell, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd wasn't exciting. But that man still sold out them filled up arenas. It sold out. People got all them pay-per-view buys. Excuse me. People got all those pay-per-view buys. Golly. Blubbering over words. People was making sure they paid all that bread for that. And they continued to do so after the fact. Even with the possibility of the fight being boring because of how much shit Floyd talked and how much his personality sold to the public. And Jake Paul doing the very same thing, man. And you can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. And the boxing game is where it is today because the best ain't fighting the best. You know, and guys don't have the personalities that they once did. You know, you got to have a mouthpiece. You got to be able to talk some stuff. You got to be able to sell yourself. You got to be able to have a certain type of flair. You ain't got to be ignorant and just disgraceful. Because Adrian did some real ignorant, coon-like stuff before. And that I did not like him doing and didn't agree with. Right? But I'm watching a guy like Deion Sanders be able to still get people to love him, and still have that type of bravado where people like, man, I got to watch this dude. I got to see what he going to do next. I can't wait to see what he gonna do next. And that's what Jake Paul is doing. So that's why he